guys, welcome to Costa Rica Real Estate and Investing. I'm your host, Richard Bexon, and today we'll be speaking with Rebecca Clower of Blue Water Properties, a real estate and property management company based in Tamarindo, Guanacaste. Rebecca is head realtor and also the owner, and they deal with properties all the way from Avellanas in the south, all the way up to Papagayo in the north. So we'll be asking her about everything that's hot and everything that's not in the region. Remember, if you have questions for her or future guests, please put them in the comments. And also, if you want to get into contact with Rebecca or myself, all the contact details are in the description down below. And remember to subscribe, guys, and to stay in contact with all future episodes. Let's get started. Hey, Becky, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you, Richard?
Very, very good. Thanks for taking the time to speak to us today.
Thanks for having me.
From what I understand, having spoken to quite a few realtors out there, it's pretty crazy at the moment, no?
It's extremely crazy. I was just having this conversation with a colleague here at the office today, and I said to him, I haven't been this busy since the boom. Obviously, times are strange. I have my theories behind why people are flocking to Costa Rica right now. I think some of it's probably pretty obvious, but I've personally, my team, we're a team of 12. I myself at this very moment have 12 deals under contract with 2 more that I'm putting under contract today.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah.
And
so
are people buying sight unseen, or they're actually coming to see these things?
Most people, now that they can travel here, most people are buying their properties, actually seeing them live in person. But we have done several sales sight unseen, which also wasn't something that we ever envisioned us doing, because we like to go into properties and show them.
Yep.
In this particular case, now that people can travel here and the borders aren't locked down, more people are coming to see the property in person. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it's there, I'd like to think that there are certain types of properties that are probably selling more than others. But I mean, what are you guys seeing? Is just everything selling? Is it more land? Is it more condos, villas, hotels, bed and breakfasts?
It's very different. It's property area specific. Mainly because, for example, in Tamarindo, there's many more condos and single family homes.
Yep.
And of course, the price point is also different. For example, I have a closing tomorrow on an Ocean View condo in Tamarindo. Friday, I have 3 closings. One's for a commercial property in Flamingo, one's for an Ocean View home, and one is a condo. So it's kind of and today I just put an Ocean View lot under contract. So it's kind of a mixed bag right now, really.
Wow. And I mean, is it typically people looking to escape is it mainly North Americans to begin with, and are they looking to escape?
Right now, the majority of our buyers are North American, both
right.
Canadian from the States. And we've even had several Ticos, Costa Ricans from San Jose, buying in this area. As a matter of fact, one of my closings, I forgot about a closing I had on Friday. The buyer's Costa Rican, her husband's Costa Rican. They live in Panama.
Wow.
And so they just want to come back here, and they are buying an Ocean View parcel near Playa Concha.
Good for them.
So they're super excited to come back and happy to be able to afford, a piece of property that has beautiful ocean views.
I mean, what areas are hot at the moment, and kind of what's hot, and what do you think is going to be up and coming over the next coming years?
So Tamarindo is always Tamarindo, and it's always going to have its allure. But the areas that are really popping right now are Playa Grande and the Conchal Flamingo area, specifically Flamingo because of the marina.
Yep.
Conchal because obviously, Reserva Conchal has its stronghold on the access to Playa Conchal. So just by default, and being one of the few resort communities, also people that are looking for properties in there. And then of course, the marina is just really changing the whole area of Flamingo and Potrero, which is the neighboring town to the north. In Potrero, there's still a lot of deals to be had, but that whole area, Rastrito, Conchal, Potrero, Flamingo, it's all really booming right now.
Wow. So. And I mean, do you think that that's on the heels of the marina coming in? Or do you think has it always been like that?
No, it hasn't always been like that. We were kind of a little sleepy giant over here, but now that the marina's coming in, it's helping us. It's just bringing in more high-end buyers, which is what we've seen an increase. But it's funny. I would love to say like, oh, only this area is blowing up, or only that. Today, my colleague Rob had a closing for a two-home oceanfront in Playa Langosta. So we can't just say that it's only this side of town or that side of town. I will say where I feel like you can get really good deals right now is in Potrero, Brasilito, and Playa Grande.
Yeah.
Playa Grande is a little tricky because, closer you get to the ocean, the more difficult it is to build and have permits to build because of the national park. So there are a lot of limitations there. But once you get a little farther back, you don't have any restrictions. So that helps a lot too.
Okay. I mean, what do you think are the gaps in the market that exist at the moment? Meaning that if you were to develop something or build something at the moment in that area, what do you think, is missing?
What the sweet spot is, always 200 or 400,000.
Yeah.
Whether it's for homes or condos, it would be great to have more of that sort of product.
Okay.
We're lacking. And when it does come on the market, it goes super quick.
Wow.
I can't remember the last time where I had multiple offers on a property. That was back in 2007, So, and that happened to me the other day with a condo at the Diria. It was like nothing was going on, radio silence for well over a year with these condos, just because they were remodeling the pool. And then all of a sudden, they closed the borders. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I get 2 offers within 1 hour of one another. It's the most bizarre, crazy thing I've dealt with.
Wow. That's incredible. I mean, it's great to hear because I've got a few friends. This is completely different, but like for some businesses, they've done really well during kind of, I suppose, post kind of COVID, like bicycle shops. They suffered before really badly. And since COVID come in, they've done really well. And I'm glad, not that you guys suffered, but it wasn't as busy. You guys had to hustle. You're always hustlers, but like, it's great to see that, a lot of people coming to buy now.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, there's competition here, just like anywhere. And the markets are quite different, but I'm seeing that there's movement throughout the country. I myself am investing over near Arenal, and I tell people, well, you live at the beach, where you buy property, but this is such a beautiful country, and we take it for granted, that we can drive an hour or two, and the landscape totally changes, the climate totally changes. So I think it's great that I can drive 2 hours and change climates completely, and be in the middle of the rainforest versus a tropical dry forest. So it's nice that we have that option.
Yeah, I mean, I drove from Guanacaste to Arenal the other day around the lake, and I just get blown away by how underdeveloped that area is.
It's going to get there. I guarantee it's going to get there. Yeah, poco. I mean, I guess we're lucky in the sense that people first always want to come to the beach.
Yep.
The reason I chose to purchase land over there and eventually build is because I always feel like the typical trip is either you hit the beach and you go to Arenal, whether it's Guanacaste or the southern zone, but it's always they're always coming up to Arenal. Arenal is like the volcano of the country. True. So I think slowly but surely that area is going to come up, and there's still a lot of affordable options over there. So.
Okay. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Again, I've always been, I work in tourism, so we spend a lot of time in the Arenal area. I mean, La Fortuna, of course, land prices have skyrocketed, but round the lake there, I mean, it's, and a bit further off from that lake, prices have kind of pretty held steady over the years. So
yeah, I do agree with you. And the reason that I'm buying on the other side of the lake is for quicker travel time from Guanacaste. You don't have to wind around the whole lake. And don't get me wrong, I love La Fortuna, but like you say, it's much more expensive. And I mean, I'm picking up, 2 acres for what I feel is a song compared to prices in other parts of the country. So,
well, I mean, the great thing about that area as well is it has water.
Correct. Lots of it.
Lots of it. So there you go, guys. There you go, guys.
You have lakes, you have the lake in front. The land that I'm building has Lago Cota in the back. So it's really just a really great, and then you have the view of the volcano. So it's like a trifecta.
Exactly. Sounds good.
Yeah.
In your opinion, I mean, just jumping straight back into kind of more realtors, what do you think are the mistakes that most realtors in Costa Rica make, in your opinion?
New ones or the ones that have been here for a while? Gosh, I mean, I think that if you're new to this market, I think the biggest mistake is just not immersing yourself in knowledge and listening to other people that have done this for a long time, and listening to what their clients say. I think sometimes some of the realtors try to steer their clients one way or another. Really, you have to listen to your client and but then don't be afraid to tell your client that they're not being realistic, because when somebody comes to me and says, "Hey, I'm looking for an oceanfront lot for 100,000," I think to myself, "Well, yeah, me too." Please show me where that is. But no, I mean, I think half of the issue is just being able to listen to your clients, and I think that's the biggest thing. Sometimes realtors have their ears closed and they're not listening to their clients' wants and needs, and not looking a little bit beyond,
of course,
going above and beyond to try to find a suitable property for them.
Yeah, I mean, I think that makes complete sense. I mean, we even see it in our businesses. I've worked with thousands of property salespeople, and chasing the dollars rather than really doing the best thing by your client, because number one, it's good karma, but number two, it will always come back.
Absolutely. I mean, everyone should treat their $30,000 client the same way they would treat their $3 million client.
Exactly.
Because guess what? The $30,000 client could refer you a client that would buy a $3 million oceanfront home. Wonderful. So, you think that way, but, I have a budget too. I mean, I would love to spend millions of dollars on a property, but, I think that's just what it comes down to, is don't take anybody for granted. You never know, where your client's small purchase could lead you, and vice versa.
True. Now, I mean, if you were, say you weren't a realtor, say you were independent, and I've always wondered why there aren't more of these kind of consultants to people looking for real estate down here, that you're not a realtor, so you're not making commissions, but like you're on the other side, meaning that you kind of represent the buyer a little bit. You go, that's a good price, that's not, this is where you should buy, this is where you shouldn't buy. But if you were that person trying to give advice to someone that's looking to invest here in Costa Rica, what would you potentially say to them?
Well, first of all, I think that's an amazing business that we should be opening here. I give free advice all the time. No, what I would say to people, well, first is we don't have financing here, not commercial, residential financing available. We do have some deals that I've done lately with a private owner financing, but even in those cases, it kind of takes you down to a small percentage of properties that are offering that. And in that case, most of the owners want the buyers to come up with at least, let's call it 20 to 50% down, depending on the situation. And it's not a long-term loan. Usually they're more than 4 years, let's say, 4 or 5 years max. I mean, that's the biggest loan I've ever done, is 5 years max here, with a balloon payment due at the end. So I can tell you that to get the deal done, many sellers lately have been open to owner financing, as long as it's not a long thing. I just put a deal under contract last Friday, and the purchasers are from California, and they basically asked for a 3-year loan, but with the idea to pay it off in a year. They're selling 2 properties in California, but they wanted to give themselves breathing room just in case. So I think, it's good to be creative. Even if you're looking at a property and they say that they're not offering financing, make the offer. And I'll tell you why. Because my seller, I don't represent the buyer, I represent the seller in this transaction. He said, nope, I don't want to do financing. Okay. But when you present them and it's a full cash offer, and they're putting down a sizable amount of money, and they're telling you they're going to be paid off in 2 or 3 years, most people would do it. I would, I mean, unless you need the money like right this second.
Of course.
I think a lot of people are just leery about financing overseas. So,
but I have a question for you on that. Say that you were to do that, okay, and then the actual buyer defaulted. What would happen in that circumstance?
You mean they defaulted on their loan payment?
Yeah, they defaulted on a loan payment. I mean, say they paid 50% down, the other 50% was over 3 years, and they missed the payment. I mean, what happens?
That's the negative part, right? Like just up north, you would have to foreclose. And so you're foreclosing, obviously, in the registry, the owner, in this case, is acting as the bank.
Yep.
And they're the ones first position lien holders, right? So in this case, they would have to go through the foreclosure process, which can be lengthy. So what we've been doing lately is that anybody that's doing owner financing here has actually put it into a trust.
Okay.
And the reason they're doing that is because, well, first of all, it's cheaper, but also it's quicker to take over the property. We're talking months instead of a year or more. Yes. So a lot of people have been going, I'm not an attorney. I'm just throwing that out there. I feel like I need a little asterisk. I'm not an attorney. Don't try this at home. But I do see what's going on, and I think it's always good to keep your options open. Obviously, some properties are going to sell quick and without any kind of financing. It's just how it is. But we do have options. There's a company for at least U.S. citizens. There's a company called Redwood Capital, which is loaning 30-year fixed mortgage loans. Again, not the most wonderful rates, and it's kind of tough to deal with Americans because they come down and they can do loans for 3%. So I tell my clients, well, you can be creative. If you have an IRA or a 401k, you can purchase within an IRA, or if you have a 401k retirement account, you can roll that over into a self-directed IRA. And in essence, I probably do about 3 to 4 deals like that a year. I use a third party, holding company. There's a few. We use Pensco for the last deal, and you basically do everything through them. Technically, you're not supposed to live in the property. It's supposed to be an investment, but a lot of our people here at the beach buy for investment, so it works for their purposes.
And I mean, how many people buying, how many people are buying to use it, and how many people are buying as an investment?
At the beach, it's heavy investment, right? Okay. So it's not like in the Central Valley, you'll have a lot more retirees, for example. But here, the overwhelming majority, I would say it's a little bit different lately, where some people are buying second homes or coming to live here full time. But I would say at least 70 to 80% of what I sell annually is for investment.
Wow. And people can actually make money renting it, is my question, because I've always had this thing when I've spoken to, some vacation rental owners that have taken something, some of them make money, some of them don't. I mean, in your opinion, people that have a vacation rental, can they make money with it, or are they just looking to really just cover their costs?
People are all over the board. You can absolutely make money on vacation rentals. The difference being that here, I think people's expectations of making all sorts of money. I think that was easier in the past, but obviously now we have new rules and regs, and people are actually paying taxes and things like that. So that's brought down our profit center, right? But I can tell you, and I have 2 of my own. I manage 75 properties. I have 2 of my own that I manage, and I've been doing really well with them. Once you get going, which is always year 2, as you know, you don't just go out the gate and say, oh, I'm going to get this filled up 100%.
Of course.
Year 2, you're raising your rates. Year 2, you're having higher occupancy. Year 2, you're getting all your 5-star reviews from the past, and now you're moving up in the ranks. So it takes time, and people need to understand if they're not coming to something that's already in a rental pool, if they're starting from scratch, the first year is never going to be a representative year of what the property can do.
Yeah.
Right. And yes, you can make money, but the average return on investment here at the beach is around 4 to 6%. That's average.
Yeah.
I get people that specifically are looking for 10% ROI, and we have to be a little realistic. 10% ROI net is really difficult, especially when you're going to the property several weeks out of the year, which is really what a lot of my owners do.
Yeah.
So they'll come down, I'm in my office in Tamarindo right now. A lot of the clients that have properties here in Tamarindo don't live in them. So they'll come down anywhere from a week to 2 months, and the ones that stay longer obviously skew our rental numbers a little bit too. So.
Of course.
But some people just want to cover their costs. Not everybody's looking to make a ton of money. They feel like, hey, I'm covering costs. I'm getting the annual appreciation.
That's right.
And I get vacation for free. So, if you look at it that way, that's super realistic. But if somebody comes and saying, I'm going to make 10% ROI, that's not super realistic. So.
I like to call it's a lifestyle investment. It's an investment that you make in order to be able to use it, but also if you can get a bit of returns and cover your costs, fine, but you also get access to it as well. So
you cannot put a price tag on this lifestyle.
That's very true. That's very true.
The number one thing I tell people, I say, listen, Costa Rica is, we're not the cheapest place, let's say, on earth to buy. Absolutely. You've got Nicaragua to the north. There's competition all over the world, but there's nothing like the Ticos. and the warmth that you feel here in the country. And maybe I'm biased, but I've been in a lot of places, and nowhere will you feel welcome like you do here. And I think between that and just the quality of many things, like here at the beach, living here 15 years ago was difficult. Okay.
Yeah.
But now we have, we have Walmart in Liberia, we have Price Smart, we have Alta Mercado. I mean, we're like really, we're going forward in the world, right? We're like in the 21st century here. But those things, those little things make it easier. And we also have a lot of schools. So where before we didn't have that option either, now we have like 5 different private, bilingual schools. And so that helps a lot for people that want to bring their family out here, especially if they want their children to learn Spanish. And so it's good to have those options as well.
I agree. Yeah, it's been great to see the Guanacaste area just really develop with, again, Price Smart coming in, which I think in the US they'd know as kind of Costco, but they're very similar. Walmart, Alta Mercado, which is like our luxury kind of, I wouldn't go as far as say Whole Foods, but it's kind of like our luxury supermarket here. But things are certainly moving, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I know that we've spoken before, and I know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask it just because I think people might be interested. Have you ever invested or run a business while in Costa Rica that was not real estate? What was it? Like, why did you do it and how did it go?
Okay, well, I want to jump right now that I actually opened up just a few months ago, a partner, and I managed 75 properties from 1 bedroom to 8 bedrooms. So it's a lot of different things that I do. Some of the businesses, as you know, have a symbiotic relationship, like rentals, real estate, and tours. The gym was just something we did because we felt, we knew that the community needed a nice, modern, clean gym, because the only one that we really had on at least our side of town, Tamarindo has several gyms, but on the Flamingo side, the only one gym we had closed down because they sold the gym along with the real estate and the building and everything to a group from the States, and they turned it into a private, it's called Sports Abroad, basically, just with exchange with athletes abroad. So once that went private, we didn't have a public facility. So we just opened that up, and I'm happy to say we have been open only 2.5 months, and we have over 200 members. So we're super excited about that. Yeah.
Nice. So we can say it's making money.
It's making money.
Woohoo! After 2.5 months. Nice work.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool, right? So we knew, obviously I've been here 15 years. My business partner's been here for 6 years. And she's a total health nut. I'm not going to say I'm the health nut, but I know everybody, and so does she. So between the two of us, we figured, okay, she knows this crowd, I know that crowd. We'll get them here. And because I'm half Tica, I know a lot of people from the Pueblo. You know that you need to have your town. You need to be backed up by the local community. And I think that's where a lot of the businesses go wrong. And we also do pricing for locals, so because we want them there. They're the people that are your bread and butter. They're always going to be there no matter what's going on in the world. So.
That's very true. That's very true. Yeah, because I'm sure a lot of the listeners are thinking, okay, I want to move to Costa Rica, but I also want to start a business. Kind of what stuff can I do? Because that's always the big question. If I'm going to move down there, I want to start a business, what do I do? So kudos to you for starting the gym. I think it's a great idea, but
I know it sounds a little random because I'm
not at all
in the real estate realm, but when I first came here, I was working in television advertising. Obviously I wasn't going to do that here. I went to university to be a reporter. Wasn't doing that here. Although I'm a fan of video. We have a YouTube channel, and I do feel that a lot of people coming here, whether it's to visit or to buy real estate or to vacation, whatever, they love videos, and that's where it's going to go. YouTube is a good place, as is social media, as you know. So,
I always give advice to people when they want to come and start a business down here. Go and work in what it is that you think that you want to do first. Like, if you can, like if you get residency, etc., go and get a job and try and do it before, basically investing a bunch of money.
I agree. I think the biggest mistake people make is not planning. I'm not going to say I had this like fine-tuned plan, but I had a plan. I was going to come to Costa Rica, but I already had a job waiting for me.
Yep.
I'd already applied for my residency. And as you know, my mom's Tika, but she never registered my birth abroad. So I had to apply for residency just like everybody else at the beginning.
Yep.
And then I had my children, which fast tracked me. And then eventually they changed the law. So then I got my citizenship about 6 years ago. So anybody coming down here, if they're truly serious about being here, they really want to be here for the long haul, they need to get the residency. And if they don't have enough money to get the residency, then making a move to a foreign country might not be the smartest decision. And I don't say that to be rude. I'm just saying it to be realistic. You know, I have people, for example, I get contacted all the time, every week, people wanting to come work for me. And I love my team. And I love people that, you know, I was a newbie once too. But you really need to get here, figure out if this place is going to work for you. And then you have to get your residency, because now with all the, you know, it's strict now. It's not like how it used to be where everybody's working illegally. It's no different. I find it to be a lack of respect for people that don't want to, you know, work legally here if they have every opportunity to get the residency. Yeah. I find it rather easy. They give you many different, you know, options to get your residency. So. Yeah, but no, we won't have anybody that's not legal to work in the country. So.
Yeah, I spoke to Christina last week, who's actually a lawyer. She's actually based in Nosada, who does a lot of residency applications here. So we went through the whole residency application process and the different types that you can get, etc. Talked about the digital nomad, what's happening there. It's still waiting to be passed. That things, you know, some people are like, it's going to be passed. I'm like, I think it's going to take a while yet. You know, there's a lot of infighting there. But
I will say, you know, what's interesting? We've had so many people that said, I'm coming for a month, and they keep extending and extending. And I've already turned a couple of my renters into buyers, because they keep renting. I might as well just buy a place. And a lot of people have decided to make the move. And whether it's going to be for long-term or short, that's still to be seen. But many people came down here for 2 weeks and ended up staying, you know, for 6 months. So we'll see.
Yeah. Wow. So the question I like to ask everybody that comes on the podcast, if you inherited $500,000 and you had to invest it in a business or real estate in Costa Rica, and it's not something that you've already done, what would you invest it in and why?
Well, you know, I'm a real estate girl at heart. I would, and I know what works and I know what's proven. So the one thing that's worked the best for me is my small ocean view homes.
Okay.
And the reason I say small is because I joked about my guest homes, which are 1 and 2 bedroom ocean view freestanding homes. They were pandemic proof. Even in the pandemic, the local market was there. Yep. and carried those properties. I made as much money in 2020 as I did in 2019.
That's insane.
Because I have homes with lower price points that appeal to the masses. So yeah, you might have lost your big spenders during the pandemic and whatnot. And we know that the Costa Rica market is great. I did find out that there's a lot of well-to-do Ticos out of San Jose during this pandemic. And that's what we catered to. And now those people have turned into our repeat clients, and it's worked out really well for us, actually. It turned a year that would have been essentially a total bomb into something somewhat positive. So, you know, if I were, you look, and each community is different, but I feel like there's a serious lack of little ocean view homes and also affordable single family homes, but people that aren't condo people and people that want to live here permanently. I also think there's a big lack of long-term rentals and like I said, homes.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, I've been looking to move to Guanacaste a couple of times. Actually, back in 2008, end of 18, we were looking, and it didn't happen for business reasons. And then we're kind of looking again now because my wife's dying to go to the beach, and so kind of am I to an extent, because we live here in the city. And it's incredible. There really is no kind of, you know, I mean, 3-4 bedroom houses that are somewhat affordable. I mean, there's everything in the $1,000 to right up to $4,000 or $5,000, but there's nothing in that middle, if that makes sense. You know, the kind of 1,500 to 2,000.
We need to figure out a way on how to make more affordable housing.
I agree.
I think that's a little bigger than me, but I think that there needs to be other techniques, building methods, and you know, we just have to start going away from the beach a little bit as well. Yep. As you get out of town, you know, even if it's 5 or 10 minutes, the prices drop significantly. And I think as time goes on, I mean, Yeah, I have an ocean view, but I used to live many years without one, and I didn't really care, because if I go to the beach, I can look at the ocean that way, and you save yourself a heck of a lot of money. So I think too, that's another thing that people think they all need an ocean view. It's not the most important thing. It really isn't. We're surrounded by a lot of beautiful things. So
that's true. We're spoiled for choice here in Costa Rica. So.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
But anyway, Rebecca, it's been an absolute pleasure talking with you. And thanks for taking the time. And anybody that wants to contact Rebecca, I'll place all the contact details in the descriptions there, and they can contact you directly. But Rebecca, it's been an absolute pleasure, and we hope to get you on the podcast soon.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
No worries. Talk soon. Catch you later.